In a language class, students often feel embarrassed or afraid of making mistakes. How do you create an environment where students feel emotionally safe?
Making mistakes is part of learning a language.
Right.
English is my second language. I came to this country when I was 14. I studied in English, and yeah, I still struggle with it. And even within the classroom, I don't know if you remember, but I would say, "Oh, how do you say this in English?" Or "How do you say that
Oh
in
yeah.
English?" Or "Am I saying this correct?" Because it's something it's never going to be perfect, and we don't want it to be. We just want communication to happen,
Right.
and I think that you allow students to make mistakes. I'll make mistakes and I'll put myself in their shoes in English. So when I ask you those things, I want you to see, and I think I even say it in class.
Hmm.
I never, even though I can read, I can write, I can communicate in English, I'll never feel 100% sure. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm not smart enough in English because of the communication and the barrier that will always be there. But I know that that's not necessarily true. We all can communicate, and it's part of the process of learning a language to know that you're going to make mistakes. So in the classroom, I think we can always try. We can laugh about our mistakes. Of course, you know which students you can do it with, and which ones you can. But it's part again of building that rapport and saying, "Hey, it's okay. That's not how you say it." And when you correct as a teacher, you have to make sure that you're mindful of how you do it, so that you don't put the student on the spot. But mistakes are going to be made when learning a language. The accent is going to be there no matter how much you try. It's just part of saying I'm bilingual and I can speak more than one language. But understanding that perfection is not what we want. What we want is communication, and I think as a teacher we have to communicate that to the students.
Right. Thank you. So we have something in common. English is actually my second language as well. My first being Chinese. And learning English when I first moved to America was actually very challenging for me. I don't understand the material. I don't understand what people are talking about. It's and my parents they haven't been. I wouldn't say my parents have been very supportive of me when I was in elementary school trying to pick up English, but I picked it up anyway. And this is I think this is my eighth year living in America right now, and I usually still stutter when I talk. I still can't make up my mind of what words I'm gonna use. So yeah, this language is English as a language could get difficult sometimes. And also, you mentioned of how it is definitely okay to make mistakes while learning a new language, and there is no shame in that. I feel like that is a very wise and smart saying because from where I'm from, when I was in China, making mistakes was seen as well shameful it's and if you are someone who keeps making mistakes, uh, besides from let's not talk about whether the mistakes are repetitive or they're new mistakes. You're gonna get stigmatized anyway. So moving to America really introduced me to the idea of how making mistakes is okay. You can learn from your mistakes and that stuff. And creating a good classroom environment is actually very important right now because I didn't get that environment when I was in China, but did when I was in America. When I came here, this whole thing was new.
And now you're on your way of being trilingual. Spanish is coming along, and it's coming
Yes,
along quite well.
Spanish is my third language right now, and I'm and I wouldn't say I'm too good at Spanish, but I'm picking it up.
You are.
Yeah,
This is your third year with
yeah,
Spanish,
it's my third year of
and you can
Spanish.
communicate quite well. So
Mm.
I think you should feel really proud of yourself, Kevin.
Thank you,
Mistakes
Maestro.
are going to be made. Who cares? Communication is happening, and it's there, and that's the goal.
Yeah, I feel like the school offers a very great opportunity for me to speak Spanish because the teachers are Spanish teachers. They're all very engaged, and I feel like they love their job. And so in my family, I really speak English because all my family they don't even my parents they don't speak much English. We communicate each other using Chinese, And at school, I communicate with English, and in the Spanish classrooms, well, I use Spanish. So so I have an environment where I use all three languages. So I feel like that's a plus.
It
I feel like that
is.
really is a plus.